Oh, did you see Long Way Around? Yeah, you saw Long Way. You didn't see Long Way Around? You didn't see Long Way Around? Oh, I have to tell you about Long Way Around. Oh, I'll sit down. I'm going to tell you about Long Way Around. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it right now. Let's watch Long Way Around. Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman. Yeah. They rode BMWs just like this one. Well, not exactly like this one. They had 1150s and this was a 1200. But it's pretty much like the bikes from Long Way Around. Did you see Long Way Around? 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 Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman.
1200GS, opposite of some old folk. Haters out the woodwork saying I'd be a slow poke. Dropping a dime like they did time in a cell block. Selling me out like a realtor cause they sell blocks.
Time to wipe.
This is a 2008 BMW R1200GS. These days you can get GSs from the 2000s for about $8,000 to $1,000 used. BMW calls this an adventure bike, and it is, if you go the long way around, but they had more than their share of problems. What most people are using the 1200GSs for is touring. So that puts this bike up against Harley-Davidsons. Yeah. For most people's needs, a Harley-Davidson dresser will do everything a BMW 1200GS will do. But there's a problem. Harley-Davidsons are more expensive than BMWs in the used market. Okay, used 1200GSs, again, $8,000 to $10,000. But used 2000s Harley-Davidson touring bike, like the Ultra Classic, or the Street Glide, or the Fat Boy, or the Softail Heritage, $10,000 to $12,000. Which is interesting because Harley-Davidsons, the more expensive bike, are seen as the blue-collar, hard-working man's motorcycle, whereas BMWs are seen as you'd think price would dictate everything. No, the cheaper bike is seen as the rich man's bike, and the more expensive bike is seen as the poor man's bike. It's like log cabins and hard cider, playing out on two wheels. Right, the election of 1840. Harley-Davidson as William Henry Harrison versus BMW as Martin Van Buren. Harrison was the rich man, but he pretended to be a poor man, and he accused Van Buren of being upper crust and out of touch with the populace. And it worked. Plus, this is a BMW from 2008. What happened in 2008? The global financial crisis. What happened right before the election of 1840? The Panic of 1837, fueled by unrealistic land investment, expansion, and speculation. Just like in 2008, which was the second half of the global financial crisis, which was ignited by the housing bubble, security manipulation, predatory lending, and deregulation. And we're still feeling the effects of prestigious and boutique motorcycles having bad stigma even today, even though it's been 7 years. Come to think of it, the Panic of 1837, the ripples of that was also about 7 years. Huh. And the big thing about the global financial crisis was that it cemented the idea that the rich can't be trusted. And we carry this logic into vehicles, don't we?
All them BMWs, they always break down. They're too expensive. Give me a Harley.
Even though Harleys are more expensive. That's what marketing does.
www.poopsex.gov. I'm shoveling mulch into the wealth gap. Bees, 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 beads, beads, beads.
Computer! Lamp. Lamp means lamp failure. But all the lights on this motorcycle work, so who knows. For 2008, power goes up from 100 horsepower to 105 horsepower. New for 2008 is revised anti-lock brakes, plus traction control, but I'm not sure if that was an option. Engine power peaks at 7,750 RPM, and torque at 6,000 to 6,500 RPM. Brakes are twin-floating 305mm discs with 4-piston calipers. In the rear is a single 265mm disc with a 2-piston caliper. It's not a light motorcycle at 564 pounds when you fill it up with gas and oil, but the bike leans very nicely in corners. The air and oil cooled opposed engine also has 4 valves per cylinder. The bike looks tall, but it's not really all that tall because you can't embiggen your penis, but you can use smoke and mirrors to make yourself seem taller. The 1200GS is the poli-sci professor who doesn't have any time or patience for your recycled joke about Monica Lewinsky getting inside the beltway. So for the rest of us, the 2008 BMW 1200 is the official bike of the Dennis system. Even though the BMWs are cheaper than Harley-Davidson, the BMWs nevertheless inspire enthusiasm, whether from the general public or or from the BMW enthusiasts who give Corvette diehards a run for their money in the brand loyalty department. But while the 1200GS might produce groupies, it's important to remember the old words. You bring home groupies for the night, but you don't let them in. If you pick the 1200GS for the right reason, then this bike will have nothing to do with the visibility of the brand BMW, or its merit as a status symbol. None of that should matter. What matters is function. What matters is compatibility. What matters is customization, something that Harley does very well, and BMW was right to pick up on. The 1200GS is made to be a platform motorcycle. You're supposed to add on all sorts of other stuff, which the owner did, to make it uniquely yours. They say every dog resembles his owner over a time, and the same thing is true about motorcycles. Treat her right, and the 1200GS will be a mirror on the wall, reflecting a truth that's either reaffirming or unkind, but that all depends on you. But like any motorcycle, you must take care of it. It's like any relationship, really. So don't go into BMW motorcycles with your thoughts immediately sent on the retirement that is resale value, because you're gonna get rooked anyway. It's like selling your entire PS2 collection to GameStop and then coming out owing them money. When you go shopping for a motorcycle, BMW or not, look for something that will fit you, that will do everything you need it to do. Find a motorcycle that feels right, that feels like justice, that feels like home. What am I doing? I forgot how does this bike ride? Smooth. Very smooth. Even with the knobby-ish tires, very smooth bike to ride. You do feel isolated from the road and the environment a little bit, because its windshield is very good. You can see here, I'm using my hand to try to feel where that wind line comes. It's hitting me somewhere in the helmet area right here. Also, I'm wearing mesh Alpine Star gloves, and I was ready to take them off because these bark busters on here, well, they're really more of wind deflectors. Your hands will hardly ever get cold, and then it has heated hand grips on top of that. I did like the position because I do like dual sports, so I did like the wide handlebars. The instrument cluster is way out in front of you, and that makes the bike feel longer than it is. When you get up on these bikes in real life, they're quite snubby, and that's good. They will work off-road. The point is, when you have a snubby bike like this, you have a wheelbase that's shorter together and it'll keep you from high centering over stuff. And the bike has a center stand. I love these things. All bikes should have center stands. In short, BMW, great bike. I don't know if I'd ever... The computer scares me a bit. I like my bikes carbureted.
1200GS, opposite of some old folk. Haters out the woodwork saying I be a slow poke. Dropping a dime like they did time in a cell block. Selling me out like a realtor cause they sell blocks. Burning up the mic and I get paid to do it. And it's worth it even though I don't get laid to do it. Like the guys who lie, they claim they naughty, go to the club but don't go home with anybody. Don't be that SQUID. Don't be that unsafe dude I see. When you crash and the last thing that you see is the highway and it's 3:30 and there's score and the clock is reading 4:30. The EMTs get there and it's 4:30 cure. You wishing you'd been smarter, 4:30 sure, cause your face is looking like a pie that fell on the floor. BMW 1200GS here, lighting up the road like we rolling on Top Gear. Better let your man know I'm a calling Van Gogh, cause when I'm on the mic he better lend me his ear. Okay, that's the last take, man. Turn off the headphones.